The sterile scent of disinfectant still clung faintly to my clothes, a ghost of the corporate office I'd inhabited just days before. My name is Lisa, and at 26, I thought I had it all figured out: the steady job, the tiny but chic apartment, the carefully constructed plan for my future. Then the email came. A curt, impersonal notification that my position had been eliminated. Just like that, the carefully built structure of my life began to crumble, and the cheerful city skyline outside my window suddenly looked less like a symbol of opportunity and more like a towering monument to my failure. Panic was a cold, sharp stone in my gut. The rent was due in 2 weeks, my savings were laughably thin, and the job market felt like a vast, indifferent ocean. After countless rejections and mounting desperation, the only life raft I could find was a waitressing job at the Daily Grind, a bustling, perpetually packed restaurant downtown known for its speed and its demanding clientele. It felt like stepping onto another planet. The air in the Daily Grind was thick with the competing aromas of coffee, frying bacon, and 100 different perfumes. It was a constant, deafening symphony of clanging ceramic, sizzling oil, the rhythmic hiss of the espresso machine, and the relentless, overlapping chatter of hundreds of voices. My tailored blouses and sensible heels were replaced by a stiff, ill-fitting uniform and non-slip shoes that still left my feet aching by noon. Every shift was a blur of motion, dodging busboys, balancing precarious trays, remembering a dozen different orders, all while maintaining a smile that felt increasingly pasted on. The physical toll was immense, but the emotional drain was far worse. I quickly learned that in this world, the customer wasn't just right. They were often entitled, dismissive, and occasionally outright cruel. I was no longer a project manager. I was a nameless, faceless servant, expected to absorb complaints, apologize for things beyond my control, and cater to whims that ranged from the bizarre to the downright demeaning. There were days I'd hide in the walk-in freezer for a few seconds, the icy air a temporary balm against the burning humiliation I felt. Each condescending look, each snapped order, each complaint about a dish I hadn't even prepared, chipped away at the carefully constructed facade of confidence I'd built over the years. I started to question everything: my intelligence, my capability, my very worth as a person. The breaking point arrived one particularly brutal Tuesday evening. The dinner rush was in full swing, and I was already running on fumes when Mr. Henderson, a regular known for his impossible standards and booming voice, was seated in my section. From the moment he sat down, the complaints began. The water wasn't cold enough. The bread wasn't warm enough. The soup was too hot. Then, after I'd carefully cooled it slightly, it was suddenly too cold. His voice, loud and accusatory, cut through the restaurant's din, drawing unwanted attention. He gestured impatiently, his eyes narrowed in disdain. I felt a familiar wave of shame wash over me, hot and suffocating. In that moment, standing there with his untouched soup growing cold on the table, I felt utterly worthless, a failure who couldn't even get a simple bowl of soup right. But then something shifted. As he continued his tirade, listing grievances with increasing volume, I looked past the anger in his eyes and saw something else: a profound unhappiness, a need to exert control in a world he felt powerless in. And in that instant, I saw myself not through his eyes, or even through the eyes of my former corporate self, but through the eyes of the young woman who had packed her life into 2 suitcases and moved to a city where she knew no one. The woman who had navigated bureaucratic nightmares, survived on instant noodles, and faced down disappointment after disappointment, yet still woke up every morning and kept trying. I was not my job. I was not the sum of my circumstances, no matter how dire they seemed. I was resilient. I was resourceful. I was a fighter. A quiet strength settled over me. I met Mr. Henderson's gaze, not with defiance, but with a calm, unwavering politeness. "Mr. Henderson," I said, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands, "I understand you're not satisfied with the soup. I'd be happy to bring you something else, or perhaps you'd prefer to speak with the manager?" My tone was respectful, but firm. I wasn't apologizing for my existence. I was offering a solution while maintaining my dignity. It wasn't a dramatic, movie scene confrontation. It was quiet assertion. And it was terrifying. My heart hammered against my ribs, expecting the usual escalation. But Mr. Henderson, perhaps taken aback by my unexpected composure, simply grumbled and asked for a salad instead. From that day forward, something fundamental changed within me. I stopped seeing myself as a victim of circumstance and started seeing myself as an agent in my own life. I still encountered rude customers, that was the nature of the job, but I no longer absorbed their negativity like a sponge. I learned to depersonalize their complaints, to see them as expressions of their own issues, not reflections of my worth. I responded to rudeness with unwavering politeness, a quiet strength that often disarmed them. I learned to set boundaries, politely but firmly, when requests were unreasonable. It was a constant practice, a daily struggle against the ingrained habit of shrinking myself. There were days I slipped, days when a particularly nasty comment sent me reeling, days when I doubted if I could keep it up. But each time, I would remember that moment of clarity with Mr. Henderson, that quiet realization of my own resilience, and it would anchor me. Slowly, subtly, things began to shift. My newfound composure didn't go unnoticed. While some customers remained oblivious, others started to respond differently. They saw not just a waitress, but a person handling a challenging job with grace. Compliments rare before began to trickle in. My tips, a direct reflection of customer satisfaction, started to climb. I began to build genuine connections with the regulars who appreciated my steady, reliable service and calm demeanor. One of these regulars was Marianne, a sharp, kind businesswoman who often dined alone, observing the restaurant's controlled chaos with a thoughtful gaze. We'd exchange brief pleasantries, and she always left a generous tip. One afternoon, as I cleared her plate, she stopped me. "Lisa," she said, her voice warm, "I've been watching you. You handle this place with such incredible composure and strength. I'm truly impressed." My breath caught in my throat. "Thank you, Marianne," I managed, my voice a little shaky. "I run a small consulting firm downtown," she continued, pulling a business card from her purse. "We're looking for someone with strong organizational skills, excellent people management, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. Traits I've seen you demonstrate here, day after day." She smiled. "Would you be interested in talking about a position?" I stared at the card, then at Marianne, then back at the card, my mind reeling. It felt surreal, like a scene from a movie. After months of feeling invisible, of being defined by the lowest rung of my temporary career ladder, here was an offer, an acknowledgement of the strength I had found within myself. I accepted the offer, of course. Saying goodbye to the daily grind was bittersweet. It had been a crucible, a place of immense hardship and unexpected growth. As I walked out those doors for the final time, the scent of coffee and frying food no longer felt oppressive, but like a reminder of how far I had come. I wasn't just leaving a job. I was leaving behind the person I had been when I started, the one who doubted her worth. Looking back now, from the vantage point of a job I love and a renewed sense of purpose, I see my time as a waitress not as a setback, but as a profound, albeit painful, gift. It stripped away the superficial layers of my corporate identity and forced me to confront my own resilience. It taught me that true strength isn't about never falling, but about getting back up, dusting yourself off, and standing tall, even when your feet ache and your smile feels fragile. It taught me that my worth is inherent, not dependent on a job title or the approval of others. So, to anyone out there navigating their own unexpected detours and feeling lost or diminished, remember this: your circumstances do not define you. The challenges you face are not indicators of your weakness, but opportunities to discover the incredible strength you possess. Stand up for yourself, find your voice, and keep fighting. Because it's in those moments of struggle, in the face of entitlement and adversity, that you truly learn who you are and what you're capable of. It's not about how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's where the real victory lies.